probably post it sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, no, whenever you post it, I'll go ahead and make some announcements and post everything like that. No, absolutely.
Yeah. So nice to finally see you. I've been following your channel for, I don't know, I think when did you you started about 3 years ago, right?
That's a good question. I started JPMP, the original channel, probably like 5, maybe even 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But then yes, just JP, my channel, 2 or 3. I want to say probably closer to 3. I'll say. Yeah.
Okay, we'll start now, and then I'll ask you the question.
Oh no, fine. I'm using my laptop setup, so hopefully everything looks good, sounds good.
Fine. Yeah.
I usually don't use my laptop setup, but I was like,
okay.
For Larry, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, thank you. So here we go.
Yeah.
Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. I'm very honored to interview JUSTJP. It's a YouTube channel I followed for about 3 years. He does a lot of music reactions. And right now you're reacting to The Velvet Underground and Yes's Tornado. Not one of their most loved albums, but I love it myself.
Understood.
And you seem to like most of the songs, but I won't give too much more away. But
spoilers territory.
And I'm curious. I know you were reacting to the Velvet Underground's White Light, White Heat album. Have you done Sister Ray yet?
I've done Sister Ray, yes.
Oh, okay, I don't want to know anything more. I'm looking forward to it.
That one's going to be... I'm highly anticipatory on that one. I can't wait to see what people think of that reaction because I have some.
I actually played the album last night again, and I was thinking of you right during Sister Ray. It's like I don't know because the first time I heard the whole album, I did not like it. Right. But now I really do. I love the Velvet Underground and Lou Reed.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a unique album. And one thing I love in the comments is a lot of people kind of know me by now, my taste and everything.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is a difficult album for him to jump right into, Yeah. And me, I'm like, challenge accepted. I love to throw myself into something that I'm deeply unfamiliar with and deeply even uncomfortable with because I've listened to so much music during my lifetime. I'm used to being comfortable. I want to go into that deep end,
Yeah. So when you were younger, what music did you gravitate towards first? Like, what was your first favorite band or artist?
So interestingly enough, I always tell people this. I had a huge diversity of music growing up from literally different sources in my family. Yeah. So my dad was all jazz. My mom was kind of that R&B kind of soul music. My brother was hip hop, and my best friend was rock and metal. So I literally had all these different influences from every different direction. And the first genre of music I actually gravitated towards is one that I don't think a lot of people would even guess. I'll give you 3 guesses. See if you can guess which genre I immediately and initially gravitated towards.
New country.
It's a good guess. No, not that, but it is in that.
Prog rock?
Nope. That'd probably be my third love.
Just regular pop music.
So my initial first love of music actually went into techno and electronica.
Oh yeah.
I heard, I can't remember what song it was, but I heard a song on the radio and I asked my mom, what is that? I was just like, what is that?
Yeah.
And she was like, that's techno or something. And I was like, how did they make those sounds? The synths and everything. I was like, how did they make that sound? She was like, on a keyboard. Yeah. 2 months later, I bought myself a keyboard and I was just listening to techno and electronica and messing around with the keyboard and synths and everything. Yeah. And that was my first deeper kind of love and exposure. Yeah.
So do you play like drums, guitar, or anything? Or
so I always say I play drums in a very novice, amateur kind of way. Like I love drums. I can keep beat. I play for fun. I don't really play necessarily for anyone or performance, but drums, I would say yes. I'm a drummer. I play the handpan, which is one of those weird kind of instruments you've seen that looks like a UFO that I have done. I have a dulcimer. I mess around with a little bit, and then I've kind of messed around with piano. At one point, I had a bass, but drums, anything percussion, that's really what I've gravitated towards. Yeah,
cool. I've got so many, ideas here, like questions and all that.
Shoot them away!
Yeah,
I loaded up an iced coffee, so I had the energy for today.
So you've listened to a lot of different artists. the last few years, what's the one artist that you didn't know before that you've become like a huge fan of?
So it may be kind of obvious if you look at my channel, but I would have to just name the first three that come to my head: Genesis, Yes, and then probably Kate Bush. To be honest,
Oh yeah,
you know,
cool.
these are bands that I've always heard of in
Yeah,
passing in some regard, but I've never, actually listened to them.
yeah,
So when I started getting suggestions for them and doing the channel, I was like, oh, this is what everyone was talking about. I had
yeah.
no idea. And what a wealth and like treasure trove of music in just those three. Obviously there's many, many more, but those are the immediate ones that stand
And
out.
so number 4 is Sparks, right?
They're up there though.
No,
They're
I
up
was
there.
actually
Yeah.
no, when you did all the songs for Kimono My House, and
Yeah.
I didn't think you would actually like it.
Okay. I have seen this band, the Sparks, or Sparks rather, pop up and occur in the comments quite a bit. I have no idea who they are, what genre they are. I don't know anything about them. And to be honest, I can't even quite assume looking at the album cover and the names. I would imagine like art pop,
Kimono My House, and
maybe.
I
Yeah,
didn't know.
something in that
I didn't
regard.
think you would actually like it because I it's well known that I always see on my channel for
Yeah.
that album. I threw it in the garbage back in
Uh-huh.
1974.
Really? Really?
They took it back out after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan. I've been a fan since 1974. I've
Hmm.
seen them in concert 5 times.
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I saw them in Toronto last year. Russell
Okay.
still has his voice. He's in the 70s now, right?
Still has his range and everything.
Yeah, yeah. And they have a new album coming out in May, and I've seen them again with my girlfriend in July. So
Okay,
I
and they
hope you
came
do
out.
more Sparks reactions.
Yeah, didn't they come out with a film or a documentary of some sort
Yeah,
late
the
last
Sparks
year?
Brothers by
Okay.
the director Edgar Wright. I think it's on
Yes.
Netflix still.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember seeing that while I was listening to the album,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
think I even saw a trailer even before listening to the
yeah.
album, or at least knowing of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, even if you don't, if somebody even doesn't like their music, I think the documentary is so good because it's showing how a band, the struggles through the
Hmm.
years, the ups and downs. And
Yeah. No, no. With any band or artist, whether I like their music or not, I like the history behind it. I
yeah,
like the process behind it. Even with myself, coming from a musically diverse, influential background, I should say, I've always taken it upon myself. If I didn't like something upon first hearing it, that would make me want to listen to it more, typically,
yeah, yeah,
because I want to understand it. Everyone likes band A, but I
yeah,
don't like band A.
yeah,
Why does everyone else like band A? So I would try and figure that out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm a huge fan of Yes, but it took me
Hmm.
quite a few listens to get into Tales from Topographic Oceans, just like
Yeah. Yeah.
most people, right?
Yeah. Ritual is probably a hard one, right?
Yeah, but I
Ritual's the
love
hard.
it. I love it all now. I'll listen
Yeah.
all the way through.
Yeah. No,
And
Tales, I think, is one of those albums that, like you said, you kind of love it or hate it,
yeah,
but I think it's a wonderful album. I
yeah.
I, I love it. It's great.
I can't wait for the day that you listen to Captain Beefheart's Trout Mask Replica.
Listen, that is like one of those albums on my list, kind of like
Yeah,
White Light, White Heat. Like when I'm
yeah,
thinking everyone says not to do it because it's so difficult, and I'm just
yeah,
like, I want to
yeah,
try it.
yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of his too, and that's I guess the hardest album. There's some that are
Mhm.
a bit more commercial. That one's
Yeah.
a little out there.
How would you describe that album? 'Cause obviously, I have no idea what. I
It's
don't even know what
just
it is, but
it's just the music's great. His vocals are,
mhm.
they're Captain Beefheart, but it's just the way that they play. It doesn't sound right on the first listen.
Okay.
And then after a few listens, you get used to it and it starts to sound really good.
Okay, gotcha. So
Yeah.
it's like when you first buy a puzzle and you open the box and you just see all the pieces and you're
Yeah,
like,
it's like each band member is playing a different song or something. It's
okay,
just strange at first.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm really curious. Like I said, when I mentioned them before, everyone said don't start there or go to like Safe as Milk first
Yeah.
or one of the other
Yeah.
albums. And in my mind, I'm just like, but I want that trout.
You just
I
want
want
to
that
dive
trout.
right in.
Yeah, I want that. That makes me want to listen to it more.
Yeah. The other thing I love, some s- I watch a lot of different reaction channels. Some I like, some I don't, so I end up not watching them. But
Mhm.
you can always tell when they're genuine or whatever. And the
Yeah.
other thing is with your thumbnails, you're not doing the stupid face that a lot of
I
everyone's.
wanted to try it just sometimes, just
Oh,
to
you
see.
should. It'd be funny, right?
Just to see what happens.
To get more views.
Yeah, I
But,
don't like all that.
like there's a certain channel I would like, but every thumbnail would be him doing. And
Yeah.
it's like, forget it, I'm done.
And that's the worst part about it is it works.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about it. It's like, but I don't want to lower myself there. I have a few more years before I lower myself to that standard.
Copyright. I wanted to ask you about, your, like we all do, right? I've tried to do some music reactions in the past, and sometimes they get blocked. That's the worst, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that with your issues.
So the copyright is one of those things that's just kind of part of the territory, I guess you could say. Obviously, for this week, I'm running a little bit of an experiment. I'm trying something different, but generally, when you upload the music, the label or whoever owns the music will actually claim it. So they'll take all the ad revenue from it. You don't get anything. That's fine for my purposes.
Yeah.
But they'll still allow the video to be up and viewable. So that's kind of fine. I don't mind that. Like you said, sometimes you'll upload a video and immediately it gets blocked, which I out of all the options, I actually prefer, because at least I know right away, okay, I'll just edit this video, put it on Patreon for everybody, and then move on with my day.
Yeah.
So that's not really too much of an issue. But especially recently, I've been having a lot of copyright issues with past reactions where I'm not going to name them because I don't want to name them because they might come after me. But but there's a very, very specific label that's very big, one of the big three, I guess you could say. And they've been going back and just blocking my reactions like crazy. Like, I've been getting emails, not this week I haven't, but I have been getting emails the past 3 weeks with just like 3 or 4 block, 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 block. So that's what's kind of led to my experiment of, okay, let's stop all that. Let's just edit the reactions, basically take out the music, cut it up a little bit, but then always leave a link to the full reaction just on another channel, my dummy channel, basically, where if anything were to happen to that channel, at least it's that one. It's not my main channel. So at least I'm still safe.
So your dummy channel, are those videos unlisted?
Yeah. So those are unlisted. Okay. Yep. And I checked and I kind of tested all this and just to kind of see. So it was kind of the best of both worlds because those videos still get claimed. They still get, claim from the label owners, which I like that. They should have rights over their music. This way I can earn the revenue on my channel and the copyright owner can still get the revenue on the other channel. So it's still like kind of working out for everybody, because I don't want to have the perception of stealing money. Not that it would be, but I don't want to have the perception of, it's mine kind of thing.
Yeah. What I don't understand with these record companies, I don't think it's so much the artists, it's the record companies. Is we're all promoting the music, right?
Yeah.
If I saw a reaction by you of some band I'd never heard of, and I really liked their music, I would buy the CD.
Yeah, no,
it's the very same with Spotify. Like I'm a huge Paul Weller fan now, right? I've never heard his music. He'd been around for years. One day I'm on Spotify, start listening to his albums, and oh my God, I love this. I love this. I've got 7 of his CDs, and I'm going to buy the whole catalog.
There you go.
Because of Spotify, right?
Yeah. And I see those comments all the time where, oh, I love this band you covered. I bought their album, or I went out and bought their album. So yeah, it is wonderful that, because I love to see that. I love to see people that gravitate and find something that they never heard and they fall in love. And I mean, that's one of those feelings that is indescribable for music lovers, right? When you find a new band that just immediately clicks with you and like, oh, I need that. So, sometimes it does seem like a little bit of a shooting your foot situation when they do that kind of thing. But, I'm not going to argue with the owners of the music. They can do what they want. Just as if I had my own art, I would want to be able to do what I want with it. So,
Do you have any issues with comments? Like, do people ever, like for me, sometimes people do. They get me, it's not, there's the comments, you suck. I can take that. It's just, I don't know. Well, like your opinion, right? It's just your opinion on music, and they have to say that you're wrong about it. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah. So yeah, the comments section is one of those really interesting places, isn't it? It's kind of like the no man's land in a war.
It's like
So
you're wrong.
so overall, I have a really good comment section. I think I have 3 rules on my comment section, which I don't know if anyone actually reads. Maybe I'm the only one that read them.
I'll go read it now.
I think I'm the only one that reads them, but all it says is something along the lines of be respectful to everyone in the comments and to JP.
Yeah.
Remember the person on the other side of the screen before you type your comment. So be respectful to them. And I think there's a general like no spam one or something. So I never mind comments that say, I hate this band. Or comments that say, JP, why are you covering this song? Or I never mind that.
I saw that with Sparks. They got a few of those.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah. I don't mind that at all because I want everyone to have an open and honest opinion on the music the same way I do. There may be a song, well, I'm sure there have been songs that everyone loves, and I listen to it. I'm like, I don't really care for this.
Yeah.
I would want the same honesty out of commenters that they would expect out of myself.
Yeah.
You know, so I never mind that. But there is a really useful button that I love. It's my favorite button on YouTube. If you go into the comments, there's 3 dots, and one of the dots says, hide this user from the channel. It's one of my favorite buttons. I don't use it often. I really don't. But when it's a comment that's like just directly, like you said, like if it's like a you suck comment, I just hide them. I'm just like, I ain't got time to deal with you. No.
Well, the other thing I don't understand though too is like, say I did a reaction or I talked about Deep Purple and somebody comes by and says, I hate Deep Purple. Well, why did you click on the video?
See, but the double-edged sword of it is that because they commented, it still helps the algorithm in your channel. So it's like, thanks, kind of in a backwards kind of way. But yeah, I definitely understand that.
Now, besides me, Justin,
yes,
what are some of your favorite YouTube channels?
Oh gosh. So is this reaction specific or
no,
is
anything?
Any?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the hard thing is, and this is just always honest, it's always weird when I say this, but I don't watch a lot of reaction channels.
Yeah.
I should rephrase that. I don't really watch any reaction channels. And it's not for a specific reason. It's not my thing to watch generally. I'll watch a few occasionally, but it's a very rare thing. When it comes to channels, I do watch a lot. I actually watch a lot of gaming videos. So I watch Northern Line. He's a big gamer. Dan Giesling, he's another one. Honestly, that's what I spend a lot of my YouTube time watching. There's a few radio shows that I'll watch their live streams on YouTube as well. If I was to really go quickly to my subscription list, let me see who I actually subscribe to. Let me actually look at, because now I'm forgetting who I subscribe to. There are a few channels that they upload lesser known music, and I'll go there and listen to some of the albums that they upload. One of those is 2666, The Art of Listening. I watch a lot of skit channels as well. So my viewing on YouTube is completely different typically from like what I actually do on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, you listen to so much music on your channel, right? And then privately, you must listen to music. So why would you watch other reaction channels? Right?
Yeah. Like I said, it's never anything like personal or weird like that. It's just if I want to listen to something new, I'll just go and explore it. And I do go on a lot of forums to find new music. I'm on Rate Your Music a lot because that helps me find new music. I surf around on Prog archives occasionally, and I'll look for stuff there. And then if it's something I know that I'm not going to listen to on the channel, I'll just go listen to it on my own, and explore it that way. So I'm continually, what's the word, filled up with music, whether I'm recording it or whether I'm just going off on my own and exploring it. So, I'm kind of doing a 25% of the music I explore is on the channel and recorded. Otherwise, I'm just kind of surfing my own wave,
Do you remember the very first song that you reacted to, or one of the first?
On my channel, I would like to say the earliest song I reacted to it may have been Dream Theater with Pale Blue Dot.
Oh yeah, I still haven't heard that band.
You haven't heard Dream Theater? No. See, Dream Theater was, I would say, my second big musical band and my second big musical love. And that's actually what kind of catapulted me into prog rock in general, listening to them when I was in late high school, early college. I just fell in love with their music because I always loved music that was different. I always liked music that tried something new. And I had never heard a band play like they did and make music like they did, making 20-minute songs. This is before, of course, knowing of Yes and everything. But I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So yeah, they were a big band for me.
Yeah. And you recently reacted to Nectar's Remember the Future. I love that band.
That's so good.
I know that you had a great reaction to that. All of their albums are just amazing.
Yeah.
So
No,
they're a band. I remember that particular album from the 70s. My brother had it. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then last year or so, I got back into it. I started buying their other albums, and they're just all just amazing.
No, Nectar, that album, Remember the Future, is stellar. Really, really good. Love that. I know a lot of people also recommended, I think it's Recycled.
Yep.
I think that's it. Okay, yeah. So that's another album people had recommended as well. I love the album artwork too. It's one of those small things, but that kind of album artwork just like immediately makes me gravitate towards it. I love it.
What about reacting to the Beatles? Does that cause issues with YouTube?
Yes. So the Beatles are one of those copyright bands that it's not even bother trying. This is part of the weird thing too. So when I think of the bands that you really will have an issue with copyright material, the Beatles are one of those bands that's 100%. No matter what song, what you try, they'll always be copyright blocked.
Yeah.
Then I've had experiences with, for example, Led Zeppelin, where when I covered their album, oh my gosh, it's failing me now. When the little girls were crawling on the rocks, I can't see it now.
Houses of the Holy. Yeah.
Thank you. When I covered that album, some of the songs were blocked and some weren't.
Yeah.
And then when I covered their first album, I think pretty much all the songs got blocked. So it really just depends sometimes with certain artists and I guess what album that album belongs to, like when it comes to label.
Yeah.
Because of course they switch labels in their careers and stuff. So I think it just kind of depends. But yeah, Beatles 100%, Led Zeppelin 70%. I've never had for example, I've never had issues with the Stranglers. And then recently on their latest album, I've had one song that blocked immediately. And then one I'm kind of fighting still right now. So some bands, it's just completely random. You never know.
Yeah. What do you remember a certain song like that were there any song reactions where you absolutely hated the song?
Devo,
really?
Devo.
You're not a fan of Devo?
With I liked their album. But the song is so bad I forgot the name of the song. Joko Homo, I think it was called.
Joko Homo. I love that song.
Oh my god.
Are we not, man? We are Devo.
Oh god. That and you can go to the comments.
Justin, maybe don't listen to Trope Mask Replica.
No. See, but I have to challenge myself. I have to try it. So yeah, that's like one of those songs I can immediately think of and say, I don't like that. And I remember reading the comments and they said, JP finally hates a song. Yeah, that one. There's some songs that you initially don't like, but maybe that there's something there that maybe will keep you kind of returning to the band. Nah, that wasn't one. That wasn't one for me.
Have you ever reacted to Elvis Presley?
No, I don't think I definitely have not. On the channel, definitely not.
And I know, we don't do this just for the views, but it's nice to get views. I would suggest, like in the past, I've done reactions to Elvis Presley live performances, and they get great views. And I don't know if you've ever seen like him doing American Trilogy. It's so amazing. I highly suggest you do a reaction sometime. Some of
Elvis is one of those figures in music that I probably know, I guess, like maybe 2 or 3 of his hits. Was it Jailhouse Rocks? Is it Blue Suede Shoes? I think.
Blue Suede Shoes,
Yeah, so I probably know those. Never seen a live performance of him or anything like that. He's one of those.
You'd be impressed.
Yeah, he's one of those figures that I should, watch and I should listen to, but I don't have the innate interest in him. So it's one of those, it's in one of those weird places where yes, I want to learn a little bit more about him, but I'm not that interested in him. So I'm like, I got all these other bands, that I really want to explore, and I'm like,
Well, I'll just say, like, I think I have a greatest hits CD, but I'm not a big
Mhm.
fan of his music overall. But
Right,
he is, for me, he's the greatest performer I've ever seen. So that's
yeah,
why you should check him out sometime. American Trilogy.
American. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, like I know I've seen videos of his before as well, and I have been impressed with the performances I have seen. I haven't seen a ton, but just a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
because he's in rockabilly, right? That's this genre of music, kind of,
Yeah, I
or
guess.
not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just whatever, pop, rock,
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm almost done, Justin. I know you had
Yeah.
like half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah. I've
So
10 about 10, 15 more minutes.
okay, good.
Yeah.
You can start asking me questions.
Yes. So what is your favorite Yes album and why?
Uh,
And then I will debate you on this.
I think it would be Tales from Topographic Oceans.
Okay. Good choice.
But
I
I
say.
will say, I don't know if I think you've heard their later albums like Magnification.
Yes.
I
Yeah, that
think
was the latest one I've heard.
Magnification and Key Studio are
Mhm.
as good as their earlier albums, and they don't
Okay.
seem to get as much love.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't heard that one. The latest album I've heard was Magnification. And I
Yeah,
thought that was a really, really nice album
yeah,
overall.
yeah.
Um, I don't want to say I have a favorite Yes album because they're one of those that I can't choose one. It just depends on my mood. But I will say that currently and for the past few weeks, I have been listening to a lot of the Yes album.
Mhm.
I've really, really fallen in love with that album a lot.
Yeah.
Just from start to end, I think it's brilliant, really.
Have you heard the albums, the more recent ones with that John Davidson as the singer?
No, I haven't
Yeah,
heard any
I
of
have
those.
no interest in it.
Yeah.
It's like John Anderson has to be in there.
Yeah, he has to be involved in it to be yes. He's the
Yeah,
heart of yes. Yeah, no, I've heard it was one of the singles, The Ice Bridge from their album The
yeah,
Quest.
yep,
I did listen to that when it came
yep,
out. I thought it was all right.
yeah,
A few nice moments in there, but
yep,
nothing that I wanted to pursue further initially at that point.
yeah,
I heard that and I said, I'm gonna go back to their other stuff.
yeah, yeah.
let me hit the
I
classics
want to go
first.
back to John.
Yeah, where's
Yeah.
John? Can
The
someone
real
find John?
John. Yeah,
Will the real John please stand up? Come on.
yeah, yeah. So who would be some of your favorite singers?
So my favorite singers. So I guess I'll have to get the obvious one out of the way because this is my favorite all-time artist, period. That's going to be David Sylvian,
Hmm,
former lead singer of Japan. He's my favorite artist of all
wow,
time,
wow.
period. He will always be there. I will mourn the day he passes. He is like
I don't think I've ever heard Japan or his solo career.
depending on your interests, I would definitely start off with his solo career just to see.
Mhm.
I would highly recommend my favorite album of all time is Secrets of the Beehive from him. If anything, try his track Orpheus, which is probably the most representative of the sound of that album. One of his most popular solo works as well. But it's kind of like a very acoustic, not necessarily art pop, but an art direction in his music. It's very deep. You have a lot of other players like Suke from Can. You have Bill Nelson that plays with him.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, you have what's this other the bassist name? I forgot his name now. With Pentangle, I think it's Thompson, Danny Thompson. Yep. So you have just a lot of great musicians playing in this album, and to me, it's indescribable. It's just a wonderful, wonderful album.
Mm.
So definitely David Sylvian would be number one. I like Russell Allen a lot from Symphony X. I really enjoy him. Mikhail, I can't pronounce his last name, Ackerfeld from Opeth. Love
Oh,
him. Love him as well. Um, those are Kate Bush.
yeah, yeah.
I guess I should get that one out of the way too. I should get Kate Bush out the way.
So,
So
so were you already right into her before she became really popular again in the last year or two?
I guess a little bit because I know that she did come kind of blow up again with Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But I listened to Running Up That Hill. I want to say maybe 2 years ago, probably,
Mhm.
and that really was my first exposure to her. I'd never even heard of her before
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
So I heard that and I said, whoa, well, we got to explore this further. So
Yeah.
no, Hounds is a great album. Love,
Yeah.
love that album, especially the second half of it.
Hmm.
Now, what are your top 3 Genesis albums? I'm curious about this one.
Yeah. Actually, Genesis Live from 1973,
Hmm.
and then Foxtrot.
Okay. Okay.
It probably be all the Peter Gabriel era,
Hmm.
and then probably Nursery Crime, the early stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I do like some of the Phil Collins era too,
Uh-huh.
but I'm more of a Peter Gabriel fan for that era of Genesis.
Yeah. No,
Are those
when you
good
get
answers?
no, honestly, great answer. See, my favorite album, if I had to choose one out of them, would be Nursery Crime.
Yeah.
I think that Nursery Crime is just stellar from beginning to end. You have little pieces in there like Absent Friends. Then you have Fountain, which is one of my favorite songs ever from the band. Obviously, you have Musical Box,
Yeah.
which I always joke with people. It's a good song, but it's not like one of my favorites. But it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I just think that it's a fantastic album. The band is very fresh. They're very fresh in other albums, but they're just like hungry for something in that one. So
The
Nursery Crime
production
is my
could be
favorite.
better, but that's
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
yeah. Definitely the production could be better. They really stepped up, like on Selling England, for example. So, like, if you had Nursery Crime with Selling England's production, that would really, really lighten things up, make it pop a little bit more. But Nursery Crime is my favorite. Sometimes my favorite's Lamb. I love.
So did it take you a while to like I'm starting to fully appreciate that album, but
Mhm.
did you like it right away or
Pretty much on the first listen, I loved it right away.
yeah.
I love obviously their instrumentals and Genesis in general, what they're doing. So I love what they did in there. But I also love a kind of supernatural story
Yeah.
like that. I like an odyssey of sorts. I like to be able to follow from point A to point B, but there's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of reading into. I love that kind of thing. It's just analysis treasure. Just to jump into, and I love that just personally, not even
Yeah.
for the channel. So I love that album. I love listening to it. There's a few moments in there that kind of go on a little long, I guess you could say, but none of them detract from the album, in my opinion. I love The Lamb. And I know that The Lamb is kind of one of those albums like Topographic Oceans that, sometimes the hardcore fans like, sometimes they don't. They're like, it's a bit much. I love it from beginning to end, like Topographic Oceans.
Yeah. Have you heard of the prog band Wobbler?
Yes. Yep. I listened
Yeah.
to their album, not their recent one, but the one just before that. I know one of the songs is, I think, Fermented Hours. I think it
Yeah.
is.
I just heard
Yeah,
them
they're really
this
good.
past week because we do a CD exchange on another channel, and I
Mhm.
was given their first album, Hinterland. And they're really good. Like,
Yeah, they
mm,
are fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of modern bands, especially in progressive and psychedelic even, that are really like taking the best of the 70s and that era, bringing them to a modern
yeah,
day, but just adding more to it, you
yeah.
know? Yeah. No, I love Wobbler. There's a band called Birth that just released their album Born. It was one of my favorite albums of last year. And same thing, you have that classic 70s sound, but there's just something slightly updated about that. You can tell they're paying homage to it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they're putting a little bit of their own spin and heart into it. I really like that album a lot. Kind of
What
reminds me
about
of Eloy a little bit.
yeah? What about Marillion?
Marillion, yeah. So we covered Jesters on the channel, and I liked it overall. I didn't love all of it. Got a little bit too theatrical for me, which
Yeah.
sometimes can turn me off personally. But we are going to cover Misplaced Childhood on the channel
The
coming
the
up.
the final album with Fish, the fourth
Mhm.
one. I forget the name of it right now, but
Mhm.
like those first three are good, like you said, but
Mhm.
they reminded me a bit too much of Genesis, like
Right,
kind of
right.
copying them a little bit.
Yeah.
The Clutching at Straws.
Okay.
That
I've heard of it. Yeah.
album is one of my favorite prog albums ever.
Yeah.
Fitch, his vocals on it are amazing. So
Yeah.
you got to check that out sometime.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about that one.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about Fear, I think it's called.
Yep.
I heard a lot about that one as well. And I know that their most recent one came out. I don't remember the name of it. I know it had a bunch of colors. Sometimes I don't, I see the comments, so I kind of put things in my back pocket, but I don't really like pay attention. I'm like, I know it's an album that has a bunch of colors. I think it's like After Dark or something dark.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, a long title too.
Yeah, and I get hundreds of comments and emails and stuff, and I'm like, I try to gather as much as I can to remember it for later, but I can't. So
yeah, and people are probably always saying, "Oh, you got to check out this, you got to check out that." It's like,
yeah, I have my list right. Well, part of my list, right here.
What about Steven Wilson?
So Steven Wilson, I have heard on my own way before the channel, Porcupine Tree with their album Fear of a Blank Planet.
Yep.
Great album, fantastic sound, great track, obviously Anesthesia, or Anesthetize, rather, I should say. Wonderful, wonderful album, that one. I haven't explored a ton of Porcupine Tree besides that. I've done a few tracks. I've done a few solo Steven Wilson tracks as well. The only other project I've heard from Steven Wilson was actually his ambient drone project, Bass Communion. It was one of like those kind of random little offsprings that he's done, but I really enjoyed that when I heard it. Actually has one of what I would say is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard, which is Drugged off of that album, Bass Communion. Just really good stuff. But I haven't dove further into their music or, Steven Wilson's solo material, even though I have a great respect for him just because of,
I think overall, I like Steven Wilson's solo career more than Porcupine Tree. And his one album, he has a lot of great albums. Hand Cannot Erase is amazing. So
yeah, I remember because I was listening to Dream Theater heavily at that point. And I was one of those Dream Theater fans that if it wasn't Dream Theater, I probably didn't care too much about it. I got into that phase for a little bit. I look back and I'm like, ugh, why would I do that? But I remember that Hand Cannot Erase came out because I remember seeing the album cover with, doing one of these. And I was like, I'm gonna listen to Dream Theater. at that point. No, but I have a great deal of respect for him. And his remixes of classic albums, I think have been overall really, really great. Bringing them to life. Be really nice to get a Nursery Crime remix,
Yeah. I think some of the albums, for whatever reason, they can't be remixed. Like Yes or Primato, because they lost the master rights or something.
Yeah. But, I know that. I can't remember where. I think it might have been Warner Brothers. They had a big fire many years ago, and they lost a lot of masters and stuff like that. So that's one of those things that when it comes to physical media, that obviously we're getting away from in a sense now, but for older music like that, it's very detrimental if we lose that. There's only so many things that can be done with that, unfortunately.
So what's coming up on your channel?
So what's coming up? Let's see. Let me look at my list. Would be the first thing. So to give a hint, as we finish, the Rainbow and Velvet Underground, Yes with Tormato. So I'm working on finishing a lot of albums that I've started. So we have continuation of, like, for example, Joy Division, The Jam magazine, eventually we're going to move into a little bit of Cream. I don't know if I'm going to get it to it this month, but I'm kind of planning for next month. I want to get to Eloy a little bit. I've already heard their album Ocean on my own.
Yeah, I have
a long time ago. Wonderful album. That is one of those times where I see comments for Eloy and Ocean, and I'm like, I heard that a long time ago. I'm past that.
Yeah.
But I really want to. What album is it? It's the one with Silent Cries.
I don't know. I only have the one album, but it really like it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, really, really great album.
Like he has a unique vocals too, and I understand. It's like Russell Mael with Sparks. It's like you either like it or you don't, right?
No, I love his vocal style in there. It's kind of yelly, but kind of epic. I love that. He has a great voice, great singing. I plan on getting to Low from David Bowie.
Excellent.
I'm really looking forward to, and a lot of people have recommended to me. As a matter of fact, I wanted to do that album before I did Scary Monsters, which I did during Halloween. But, Scary Monsters, Halloween, it just made sense. So I was like, well, I got to do it. Yeah. So Low from David Bowie is one I'm very excited to get into. I love what I've heard of David Bowie. Might have some Depeche Mode later on. I'm not quite sure yet, but as usual, I mix it up in there. I throw a bunch of stuff in there.
Have you reacted to the Shaggs yet?
No, never heard of them.
The Shaggs are. I'll get you the album cover. And then
okay.
Just talk to yourself for a second.
Should I be scared or worried? What does everyone else think? Should I be scared of this album cover? Or is this going to be like, oh, that looks really cool?
This was in the, I think the late 60s.
Okay.
Philosophy of the World.
I can't say that I've seen that before.
Their father, there's a whole story to it, and Frank Zappa said this is better than the Beatles, although it isn't.
Okay.
They're very, very amateurish.
Okay.
And it's pretty well known, like as it's bad, but it's endearing at the same time.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
That'd be actually funny for you to do on your channel sometime. Philosophy of the World.
Give me a song, and I'll put it down on my list right now. I'll put it down.
My Pal Foot.
I have no words. I'm putting it down right now.
All of a sudden, you're losing hundreds of subscribers. You can thank me.
My Pal Foot. Okay.
My Pal Foot. Yeah, but read up the little biography on them, because they're like a pretty well-known cult.
Okay.
But like this album is pretty well known in cults.
Yeah. They have their cult following.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
what was that song title again? Just want to make sure I heard it right.
Foot.
Okay, all right. No, I'm just making sure I got it right. That's it.
So hopefully, so I hope everybody subscribes to JP. He's over here. Subscribes to JP.
Can you put it on then?
And I hope you don't lose subscribers from you doing this interview. Justin.
Listen, if they run away from that, they shouldn't have been here anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So I really appreciate you taking the time. Love your channel. I'm really looking forward to your reaction to Sister Ray.
Yep. Oh, hey, come on by Sunday, because that's when it's coming.
Yeah. I don't know if you know the reaction channel Andy and Alex.
Yes, I've heard of them. Yeah.
I'm on their Patreon, and every month they'll do a full album, right?
Mm-hmm.
And last year they did the White Album, right? Listening to they knew they'd heard 3 or 4 of the songs, but they'd never heard the whole album. And so when they got to Revolution number 9, right, it was so funny, their expressions, like seeing somebody hear it for the first time.
Yeah.
One of them looked annoyed as hell. The other one looked mad. They looked mad.
Yeah, you're gonna have some facial expressions on Sister Ray. I'll say that you're gonna have something on there.
So thank you very much. You really enjoyed this.
Definitely, Larry. I appreciate you inviting me. Sorry it took so long to do this.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. No, okay. I'm happy to chat always.
Okay, bye.
Later, man.